Hello, everyone. This is Josh Verlin of Philahoops.com here with Michael Litos from CAA Hoops.com, the guru of everything that is CAA basketball. We just watched VCU run out to a 32-4 lead and hold off George Mason. Was that the best basketball they've played this year?
That's the best basketball I think anybody in college basketball has played, Josh. That was just a start to a game that nobody could expect. The steals, the turnovers, the threes, they spread the floor out and got layups. I've just never seen a team play like that. But what a weird game.
Yeah, George Mason comes back. Talk about that second half. I mean, VCU gets out as hottest start as you can get, and then George Mason just slowly comes back.
George Mason stopped turning the basketball over. I think they had 8 turnovers in the first 8 minutes and maybe 5 thereafter. They really amped up the defense, made a couple of defensive adjustments that really slowed VCU down on offense. I think that's where you need to give the most credit as to the George Mason defense finally deciding to show up. A couple tweaks by Paul Hewitt. But yeah, that's just one of those games. It was the tightest 10-point game I can ever remember.
That's for sure. Now let's move ahead to tomorrow's game. It's Drexel VCU, the team that was picked first against the team that makes the Cinderella run last year. It's kind of seeming like the whole league was destined for this game.
Well, you would think so, and VCU was picked second by a lot of people in the preseason along with George Mason. So yeah, it's everything I think that the CAA would want. It's what we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, which is, well, if Drexel and VCU can play on Monday night, there's a darn good chance that we should get in at large. I mean, I think that's 26-1 for Drexel and 23-3 for VCU since early December. 2 teams just playing great basketball. Clash of styles, 2 different styles. Drexel, bigger, more perimeter oriented. With McCoy on the block. Shaka Smart just said he's a brick wall. Versus the Havoc system that VCU runs. So it'll be a nice clash of styles. A lot of fun to watch.
Talking about that clash of styles, we saw it already. Drexel beat VCU up at their home gym a few months ago, but now this is a Drexel team without Derek Thomas. Is this the game that really cost Drexel without him?
Well, I think it will, and maybe not for the reasons a lot of people are thinking. It's going to be Drexel's third game, so their legs are going to be a little bit tired, and I think you might miss Derek Thomas's 32 minutes more than any offensive production or even defensive production, because Massenet's legs start getting tired. Aquil Younger comes in, and he has to face that Havoc defense, and it's just kind of a rolling thing from there. So this is where I'm not a huge believer that depth matters, but now it does, because Derek Thomas is out, because Kazabeef can't play. It is a short bench for Bruiser. Third game in 3 days. Round about the 10-minute mark of the second half, that's where you need to look out for it.
Each Drexel player of their 6-man rotation has made a huge contribution this year. I mean, you can look down the whole roster, from McCoy to Ruffin to Givens. Who's got to step up the most tomorrow?
Probably, I would say Daryl McCoy. And the reason why I say that is VCU depends a lot more heavily on Javonte Reddick than a lot of people think. His ability to step out, knock down a 15-foot jumper, really opens up their offense. He didn't have that tonight against Mason, and you saw they bogged down once they stopped getting all those turnovers. Plus, he's going to be needed to help out on the press. He's 275 pounds. You stick him in the middle of the floor, somebody that Massenet can outlet to, that's going to help you break the press a lot more effectively, allow you to set it up so it's almost, I think Daryl McCoy is so great in that he does what he needs to do and he does what he's told. And you need players like that on championship teams. And so Daryl McCoy might become less of a screener maybe and more of an outlet passer, more of a guy that helps out and more of a presence on defense.
All right, I'm going to put pressure on right now. Sort of a 2-part question. Mm-hmm. The team that wins what stat will win this game, and make a prediction?
The team that wins the rebounding stat. And when I say that, VCU doesn't even have to win the rebounding stat. I mean, they got killed on the glass, and they won here against Mason. You can't do that against Drexel, because Drexel is just such a good second shot opportunity team with all that size. It's one thing for little guards to take second shots, but it's another thing when Sammy Givens is hitting those point-blank layups. So I think if VCU can manage to keep that close and keep Drexel, especially off the offensive boards, that's going to be the thing to look for most. It's probably offensive rebounds. And a prediction, you are putting me on the spot.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm facing, you're a Philly guy, and I'm facing Southern bias.
Honestly, I think with this, this game, you can really flip a coin. I mean, both of these teams, you can look at them and say, oh, here's why Drexel will win, or here's why VCU will win.
I'll say this, I spent a month saying Drexel was going to win the CAA tournament prior to Derek Thomas's suspension. And I think, the legs and the tired, and 9,000 people in the Coliseum rooting for VCU. I think that's just going to be a little too much. It's going to be a great game. If you wipe out the 32-4 start, I think you're going to see a similar energy and a similar grinding game. Probably of the 60-56 variety. But I do think VCU cuts down the nets. But I also think Drexel, 27-2 in their last, or 26 and whatever it is, in their last 28 games. I can't see how they're left out of the tournament.
We can certainly agree, no matter the result, we hope to see two CAA teams in the tournament. Mike, thanks so much for sitting down with us.
Thank you, Josh.
We'll see how this game goes tomorrow night.
You bet.
Have a good one, everybody.